Hello, let's do the New York Times Hard Sudoku for July 20th, 2024. There's a link in the description if you'd like to try the puzzle yourself, and I'm going to get started right now. All right, so we'll start with buddies per usual. So 2 and 7 do not have any buddies. 4, 5, and 9, we just have the 9s. So the 9s look up, this 9 looks up. So there's a 9 in one of these two cells. So there's a lot of gaps here. So let's double check. Unfortunately, 9 and 3. So yeah, so this 3, 8, 9, if you just look geometrically and ignore the numbers, this 3, 8, 9 looks really juicy because they can't go here, and there's only 2 holes left in this column. 2 empty cells left, I should say. I like to think of them as holes when I think about geometry. I don't know, the way I visualize it. But then we have to double check that these numbers aren't already present. And unfortunately, 3 and 9 are already present. So we only get the 8. We only needed 2 of them. In fact, it couldn't have been all 3, or the puzzle would be broken immediately. But so we only have the 8, and unfortunately, 8 can go in either of these places at this moment. So it's something to keep in mind that 8 is quite limited in this column, but we can't do anything with that quite yet. The other thing we can think about is the other way around, because sometimes stuff over here can help when we don't have stuff over here helping. I don't know if that makes sense, but let's see if that's the case or not. So 3, 5, 7, 9. It's really the 5 and the 7 we care about looking up here. And you can see over here, we do have the 5, 7 also helping out here. So you can see that even though we couldn't have these 3 digits help down here immediately, we can have these digits help this box. So it's always good to look both directions if you see something like that. So 5, 7 looking up, 5, 7 looking in. There are only 2 places left in this box that can be 5, 7, so they must be. So this is a 5, 7 hidden pair. Glad I found something out of all that. Obviously, that was very quick to do if you aren't explaining all the logic. So obviously, my solves are always a bit slow because of the explanation portion, but that's the whole point of these videos. So anyway, this hidden 5, 7 pair is really nice because that eliminated a bunch of digits that we thought could go in these 2 cells, but actually can't. So one of those examples is the 2. We can't put a 2 in these cells because we have to put 5 and 7 in these cells. And this 2 takes 2 out of this as well. So actually there's a 2 in one of these 2 cells, which is going to point down. I don't think it does anything immediately. Do we have anything else of note that might help here? So I'm just going to think about these 4 digits just to make sure I'm not missing anything. So what's missing is the 1, 2, 4, and 6. We got the 2 already. This sees a 4. So I guess I'll put 1, 2, 6. I'm always hesitant this early to mark 3 in a cell, but it can be helpful later if we end up finding a triple or something. 1, 2, 4, 6. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything else really going on here. These can't be 2, I guess, so we should put 1, 4, 6 in them. Okay, so here we have similar geometry. Obviously, it doesn't help here. We can check if it helps up here. We already have the 9s marked. 4 and 5, not very helpful. And then there's nothing like looking up through here. So again, we're looking for geometry type stuff. So again, what we're interested in mostly for a formation like this is what's down here looking through. So we've got the 3, 2, and 6. 2's already in the box, but 3 and 6 do look up. We do see that we have a 3 over here helping. So that does put a 3 in one of these 2 cells. I call this a crossing because the 3's cross each other in this box and they cross past these 2 givens. So whenever you have 2 digits crossing in a box, they're going to eliminate that digit from 5 of the cells. And then if there's 2 more that are givens that they avoided, then that's going to just leave 2 places, right? So the 3's point in, this 3 looks in, there's a 3 in one of these 2. All right, so what we learned is this cell is not 3. That's basically what we learned, which could be helpful. All right. I think that's all I'm seeing. I guess we do have these. So I was just thinking about the 2, 7. So remember I said go both ways, right? So I was thinking about the 2, 7 against this column. And it did just trigger me to see that we have all these 7s looking into this box. And that does place the 7 here. You could also see it via the column, which is, I don't know, I kind of saw both at once. I wouldn't be able to tell you exactly which one. It kind of, yeah, it was kind of simultaneous. Like, oh, it's that kind of thing. I'm trying to explain my scanning methods a little bit in more detail because I feel like I get questions about like, how the heck did you find that? And that means I've failed. If you don't know how I found it, it means that I failed to properly walk you through how to look for this stuff. I mean, we're not just here to watch me solve it. We're here to learn how to solve it. Okay. I think there's more that I could find, but I'm going to find it anyway when I scan. Like, I don't want to be jumping around too much. If it was my own personal solve and no one was watching me, I'd be jumping around all over the place. And that's perfectly fine if you do that. But I want to make sure that this is easy to follow. And so if I'm jumping around, then people will be like, I don't know what just happened. It was magic. And I don't want that. So I try to use this systematic method when I do my walkthroughs for classics. Anyway, so this band here, we're moving on to that. We got all of that just from looking at this band and kind of peeking around elsewhere, which is already a lot of jumping around. Anyway, let's move on to this band. So we do have, so again, I'm looking for buddies, right? So I'm going to start with this 1, 3 because it's the most empty box. So both 1 and 3 I see have buddies. And we're going to take them one at a time. These ones look in here. That does place a 1 here. That means this can't be 1. Oops, I cleared the 4 as well. And so that actually does mean 1's in one of these 3, because this hidden 5-7 pair is doing real work here. So the 1 is in one of these 3. And I do like to follow up on pointing right away so I don't forget about it, because it's very easy when scanning this band to not look up here and see this pointing. So the 1's point down, that means 1's in one of these 2. And by also marking this box, I'm reminded when I scan around this box that, oh yeah, this can't be a 1. Excuse me. Goodness. So that was the 1. Now we do the 3. We have all these 3s looking in. It does place this 3. There's nothing to follow up vertically. We have all the 3s there. Oh no, am I going to be sneezing? Okay, so I'm actually going to, since I'm seeing so many 3s, I'm just going to see if there's any obvious other places that we can deal with 3s. We've got 3s here, 3s here. So really it's 3 in this box, ends up in one of these 2, and that is quite helpful, because that points up, placing this 3. And then 3 in this box looks like it's in 3 places, so I can't do anything with that yet. So basically we got 3s here, here, and here. That's what's left. And this 7, the only reason it can't be here is because of that 7 there. So this is kind of a formation you'll see a lot. Sometimes it'll look like this, right? You can always swap the rows and columns. And that's actually an interesting property of classic Sudoku. Once you start introducing variants, all bets are off. But in classic Sudoku, you could have the exact same puzzle. Like, it's still a completely valid puzzle, and we would consider it the same puzzle if this column and this column were swapped. You can just easily swap these 2. It won't change anything about it. So you can swap any 2 columns within a stack, any 2 rows within a band. You can also swap entire bands and stacks. You can also rotate. You can reflect. There's all these transformations you can do. You can renumber, so like just swap all the 6s and 7s. And so we consider all those the same puzzle. Although that is a trick that some Sudoku softwares will use to present you with a new puzzle that's actually the same puzzle. Anyway, what was I doing? I was doing this stack. No, I was doing this band. Sorry, this is called a band. I was doing this band, and I got very distracted by 3s, but I think I'm done looking at 3s. So let's continue looking at this band. I'm a little all over the place today. I'm not feeling great, so I think that might be part of it. But I know I was just sick. Anyway, let's look at these 4 cells. So 2, 4, 8, 9 here. This can't be 4, 8, or 9. So this is a naked 2. This is why I do it, right? You're most likely to, that's another question I get a lot is, how did you find that naked single, right? And honestly, the answer is usually I will find it because the row, column, or box was already significantly limited. And I usually use 4 or fewer cells as a heuristic. Although if I know that, like, if there's 5 left, that those 5 are significantly restricted because of corner marks and other markings I've made, I will look at that as well. But usually I'll wait until I've exhausted other options. And so just saying, hey, well, there's only 4 open cells in this box. Let's think about what the digits are. That got me this naked single. It seems like an important one too. And so now we have 3 digits remaining. I'm always willing to pencil 3. So we have 1, 2, 3. We need 4, 8, 9 in this box. For myself, I like to think about the digits first, just to make sure I'm keeping up my scanning, because it is really easy. Sorry, 4, 8, 9. It's really easy to depend on those red markings too much, and then you lose your ability. You get out of practice on normal scanning. So I like to think about the 4, 8, 9 first, predict which ones will be red. So if you're going to use the red marks, I do recommend doing that. Otherwise, you're gonna depend too much on them, and you're not gonna understand you're not gonna be feeling the flow of the puzzle as much, I think. when the software is telling you too much about it. If you are very new to Sudoku, I would recommend not using the red markings at all. I did not use, like, we didn't even have the feature for years. I did Sudoku for years without any kind of help like that. And so that's why I'm fairly confident that I can use the red marks just to kind of speed up my solves without harming my scanning. Anyway, so we got this 2. 2 in this box was in only 2 places. This is a very chatty. I'm very chatty today. I don't know why. Anyway, let me know if you like the chatty solves. If you prefer less chat. I don't know if I'll change my behavior based on that, but I am curious. Anyway, so we got those 2s. Right, this row is down to 3 open cells. I'm going to mark it, but I'm going to think about it first. So we need 4, 5, and 8. So I'm seeing this 4, and that's all I'm seeing. Let's see if I'm right. 4, 5, 8. Oh, I missed the 8. After all that saying, hey, I don't depend on the red marks. But yeah, this is why I'm using the red marks, because if I had just left this as 5, 8 and moved on because I didn't have red marks on, then I would have missed this obvious part of the walkthrough, right? Which is that this is a naked single 5. So that's another reason. Right, this 5 here, this 5 here. Now look in here, placing this 5. It's also easy to depend too much on what you've marked in empty cells rather than looking at what the filled cells are trying to tell you. I try to emphasize that as much as possible, and I continue to get comments about marking up the whole puzzle. So 4, 6, 8 here. There's a 6 in one of these 2. Okay. So did I get everything I need to get out of this out of this band? The 6 pointing in here. Yeah, it is telling us that we have 6 in one of these 3. It feels like there should be more. Well, so one thing I'm seeing is this 2, 6 corner marked here. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We do have 6 cells remaining. If we had any digits looking in here that weren't already corner marked, then I would let's see, maybe vertically we have something. We have the 2, 5, 4. This cell I think is limited. Well, let's just think about this box, I guess. Now that I think I've spent more time thinking about whether I should think about the box than actually thinking about it. So these can't be 1, 2, 3. The only of these 2, only this one can be 4. Can't be 5, can't be 6, and then we need 7, 8, and 9. Right, so what I predicted was that this would be down to 3 digits, and it is. This is 7, 8, 9. I should pay attention to this 1, 5, 3, but I don't. I mean, we get the 5s, I guess. I can skip ahead a little bit. But trying to find, like, oh, the 7. Yeah, okay, we have these 7s. I think I missed some buddies from digits I placed. Maybe it was just the 7, though. Okay. I don't think I'm getting anything else out of this band. Let's move on to the next band. So we got the 3, 4, and 9. The 4 has a buddy here. 4 is in one of those 2. And then we have 2 and 8. So the 2 has a buddy. This 2 looks down. It actually places the 2 here. What are we doing on 2s? They're up here. They're here. Is this box interesting? Unfortunately not. They're here. So this is the exact same formation we had before. It's just, you know, it's just not as spread out, right? We have this formation on, was it 3s? Yeah, I think it was on 3s. Yeah, so notice how this formation here, let me color it. It's basically the same as this formation here. Purple. Do you see it? Like it's sort of this bent corner, unresolvable. So we can't use single digit methods to resolve this, right? We're going to have to use other digits to come in and help resolve that. Anyway, you see that a lot. And once you recognize it, then you can recognize, move on, right? Don't stop thinking about it. It's not going to be helpful. This is 1, 5, 7. I'm going to mark that now that I see it. Okay, so I'm doing this band. I was in the middle of doing it. I got the 2s. I think I got all the buddies. Now let's look at geometry. So I do want to look at this 3, 4, 9. We already have 3 in this column, 4 and 9, not helpful. I was looking at 3 and 9 against this row, because we already have the 4, and I saw this corner mark 3, which made me curious, but I'm not really seeing anything else to do with that. We have this 2, 4, and 8. So I do need 4 and 8 in this row, and I think they're both here. Yeah, so I have this 4 and 8 seeing this cell here, and this 4 and 8 seeing these 3. So 4 and 8 in this row can only go here. That's a hidden 4-8 pair. I think that's I think I would have spotted that if I'd noticed we had. Oh, no. Yeah, I did have the 4s cornered, right? Yeah, I did have the 4s cornered. I was like, how did I miss those duplicate 4s? But actually, it's the 8. Really, what we could see also is that the 8 looking in this box puts an 8 in one of these two, and that would point in here along with this 8. And that also gives us the hidden 4-8. Now, here is this is what we would call a unique rectangle potential, but we already know that 6 is limited to these two. So all the unique rectangle here tells us is that 6 must be in one of these two, but we already knew that from Sudoku. But basically, we know from uniqueness that this isn't going to end up as 2, 4, 8 pairs, because there'd be no way to resolve them. But there's other reasons they can't be 2, 4, 8 pairs, so there would be no reason to use that. And I wouldn't use that anyway in my solves. But okay, so thought I'd point it out that I saw that, because whenever I mark stuff like this, I'm looking up to see if we can do anything with it, and I can't help but notice stuff like that. What do we need in this row? Because it's down to 4 digits. We need 1, 5, 7, 9. Well, this isn't 1, 5, or 9. 1, 5, or 9. So this is a naked 7. Again, that's a really good way to find naked singles. And we're down to 1, 5, 9. We can mark that out. I knew there was this 5 because of the corner marks. So what's going on with this cell then? I don't think much special, actually. It's just not 3, 5. So it's 1, can't be 2, 3, 4, 5, could be 6 or 9. Okay. What about this 2, 6, 7? Notice we're going to look at this column. So really it's just 6, but 6 can be plenty places. I'm thinking about this hidden 4-8 pair, and like what is it telling us? I think for the columns maybe it's helpful. Basically 1, 5, 9 can't be here. This is the important bit, is we removed 1, 5, 9 from here. So like this can't be 5, 9 anymore, which is information we didn't know. It's non-obvious information. So it can't be 1, 5, 9. Already couldn't be 1, so it can't be 5, 9. So yeah, this 9 looking in is helpful, because these can't be 9 either. So 9's in one of these two. And that means, 9 is placed, even better, which means this can't be 9. And 9 is down here. So the first thing I'm looking at here is whether that helps the column, because if I restrict 9 to these two, maybe I can place a 9 over here, but there already is a 9 over here. But this 9 does help up here, placing this 9. How are we on 9s? So if you place a bunch of a digit, it doesn't hurt to just look to see if you can finish them. But in this case, I think we have the thing that I've been pointing out a lot. So in this box, 9 ends up in these 4. So we end up with this exact same sort of bent corner formation for the remaining 9s. As soon as you recognize that, just move on. So this is down to a triple. It's 1, 2, 3. Right, so the 3 can't go there. Okay, that's not super helpful right now. Hold on. 1, 3, and 5 is what's left. So it cleans up, but not in a way that's super helpful. But whenever you get this kind of triple where one digit is missing from each, think about whether that causes one of the digits to be restricted to a row or a column. So in this case, the 5 is the one that's restricted to a row, right? Two of them share a row, so there is going to be a digit. So the digit missing from the one that doesn't share the row is going to be restricted to those two, because the triple is going to need a 5, and these are the only two that can give it. So that 5 is going to point, removing this 5. This also points in here, but that's not good enough. Okay. All right. Is this band done? Maybe I think we have more to find in it. This row, we need 1, 3, 5, 6. We know these can't be 5, so these are down to 1, 3, 6 already. So yeah, these pointing 5s have helped because we didn't know this couldn't be 5 until just now. But now it's a naked single because it can't be 1, 3, or 5. So it is down to just 6. That gives us the 4 here. That gives us the 4 here. We can clean all this up. 8, 9 pair removes 8 from there. This 4 removes 4 from here. And then this cell is 5 or 7. I don't think we know the order, but it does place the 8 in here because we removed the 8. This is a 1, 2, 6 triple. We don't need the corner marks. Always nice to be able to clean stuff up. So this is 1, 3, 5, but it can't be 5. So this is 1, 3. And in fact, it's the same 1, 3 as this digit. Because it can't be these two. 1, 3, 5, these are the 3, 1, 3, 5 digits. And this one can't be these two, so it's this one. Anyway. What is happening here? I just got a bunch of stuff. Let's make sure we follow up properly. This 4 we got, it has a buddy. Puts a 4 up here. 1, 2, 6 triple, 5, 7. What else did I get? Did I get something here? I got this 8, 9 pair. This row is 2, 6, 8, 9. This can't be 8 or 9, so this is 2, 6. This can't be 2, so this is 6, 8, 9. I think this can be any of them. Okay, 1, 6, 9, 1, 6, 7, yeah. Okay. It feels like there should be more to find here, but I'm not seeing it. So I'm gonna, obviously I've already done this stack. Let's take a closer look at this stack. Yeah, so like this column is down to 2, 6. I'm always paying attention to how that might match up in other directions when we pencil that. Is there anything like, see, when we're this penciled, it is much, much harder to notice, to just pay attention to the givens because there's so much noise. But that's why we use our systematic method to try to force ourselves to do that. So the 3s I already have marked. The 4s I do not actually already have marked. So 4 is in here somewhere, and this isn't the 4. So I always also just try to look at what the consequence is of having 4 in one of these two, right? I don't think there is one, but we gotta look. The 5, we do have these 5s as well. Yeah, we have all these 5s, and then the 9. That we don't know about 9s down here. We know 9s are here, and we know 9s are here. Remember that we're not going to find 9s on their own. We need help elsewhere. And then we've also got 1, 3, and 5 here. We already took care of the 5 and the 3. The 1 does not really have a buddy to help out, so that's it for our normal scanning there. I'm not seeing anything else that I really want to pencil at the moment. Maybe this row, actually. Now that I'm looking at this cell here, I'm seeing it's in a restricted row. So we need 1, 6, and 8 here. This one can't be 6. That's all I'm seeing. So this column is down to 4, and I'm just seeing that it's 1, 4, 5, 8 based on my markings. This can't be an 8 or a 4, so this is 1, 5. Ah, right, so 4 and 8 in this column. Right, you can also use the 1, 5 naked pair, right? Feel free to use the 1, 5 naked pair, but I like to see how I could have also seen the hidden version. Because sometimes the hidden version makes things a little bit more clear. Right, so we do need 4 and 8 in this column. This is the 4. The only place for 4 in this column is here, and this is the 8. That does give us the 8 here, and we had that 4 corner marked. We wouldn't have seen that if we hadn't noticed our 4s here, forced ourselves to notice that. It does place the 4 in this box, which then places the 7. Right, having that 4 corner mark there was still quite useful, even though we had a ton of pencil marks. This is not 8. This is 2, 6, 9. Oopsie, 2, 6, 9. So the 8 ends up here. That's the 9. Okay, I don't need these corner marks though. If it's part of an obvious triple, right, like that, or an obvious pair, I don't need the corner marks anymore. I know what I'm able to scan and what I'm not, and I try to judge whether to remove corner marks or not based on that. Okay. This puzzle's almost done, so it's about just finding where are we going to pencil, and I'm seeing this is a 1, 6, 9 triple. So whatever this is what's the digit that's missing in the column. It looks like it's 8, so that's our 8. How do we want to finish this? You know, I could do some scanning in this column, maybe. Do I want to? So I'm going to look at this 2, 6, 7, 9 and see how it affects up here. Obviously, it's already have a 9. We already have a 2. We already have a 7. So it would just be the 6, and we can't do it. Okay. So that kind of scanning is not going to be helpful here. I'm looking for a restricted row column box. I'm also looking to see if I missed any like pairs or triples or stuff that I created. Right. So remember this triple. Remember I was actually saying that here. This triple here, again, each one's missing 1. So these two are in the same box that this one's not in. This one's missing the 1, meaning the 1 ends up down here. So we have 1s claiming for this column. And that means this can't be 1 and this can't be 1. None of these can be 1. And so that ends up, this is a naked 3 now. We get the 5 and the 1 and the 3. Notice these are the same digit. This can't be 9. So this is our 5. No. I think I got a little bit ahead there. Let's just clean this up here. That's a 5. That's a 3. That's 7 and 5. That's 5, 1, and 7. That's not a 5. So now we can place this 5, this 9, this 1. That's a 6, 2, and 9. This digit is a 6. We get our 1 and our 6. Our 6 there. All right, we're definitely finishing now. Just the 2 digits left here. We're going to do next. We need a 2 and a 7. So this 7 tells us the order. That's 2, that's 7, that's 1, that's 2. This is a 6, gives us 8 and 6, 4 and 8. That's a 4, that's a 1, and we're done. So yeah, I was very chatty today. I was just saying how my times are slow because I'm chatty, but that was especially chatty today. But there were some neat things to find in this puzzle, and I feel like I talked about some interesting stuff. So I can't do long ones like this all the time, but the weekend is starting, so I figured I'd take some time there. Let me know if you enjoyed this. What style do you like? Did you like the chatty style? Again, I don't know that I'm going to change based on any individual feedback, but I do like to hear it. And of course, if you enjoyed it, why not leave a like, subscribe, and a kind comment below.